Hello, my name is Maya. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be reading a bunch of random AO3 Miraculous Ladybug fanfictions that I could find. I'm just going to say, I'm going to be looking for weird ones. I'm going to dig deep. We're going to start with a general look and then we're going to see if we can find some like really weird ones because I know they're out there and I'm just so intrigued as to see what AO3 has to offer for Miraculous Ladybug. Surprisingly, I've never looked it up, mostly because I only really get into AO3 phases when it's like a legit, like, I love this ship. Like, I was in a Dean and Kaz AO3 phase for a long time, but I had to let it go because I can't keep reading shitty fanfiction for the rest of my life. But yeah, I thought it'd be fun to just see what it had to offer. And obviously, just disclaimer, I'm just doing this for fun. I read fanfiction. I've written fanfiction before. I have a 3-part series on my channel that's my Dean and Cass or Supernatural Fix It Fic. So like, I'm not here to judge. I'm just here to have fun, okay? I like fanfiction. I have no ill will. I just want to see what she has to offer. Oh my god. This first one is called Hypothetically Ever After. What it says, this is the description. Marinette has been crunching the numbers, scheming and dreaming about this moment for the past 365 days. What happens when you add 2 weeks, 2 boys, and 1 chance at romance? An unforgettable summer, that's for sure. Where are the juicy ones? Whoa. This one is a Marinette and Kagami ship. We're gonna try this one. Okay. This one's called Zero Chance of Not Falling. There's 10 parts. I'm only gonna read 1 chapter, but the description is, what if, when Kagami told Marinette to practice her confession to Adrien on someone who wouldn't fall in love with her, Marinette chose Kagami? What if Marinette and Kagami weren't as immune to each other's charms as they believed? Gay, give me the gay. All right, here we go. To be honest, Marinette was completely lost. Why had Kagami summoned her to discuss confession strategies? Why did Marinette's heart rate pick up when she stepped into the car? And why couldn't she get enough of that subtle lavender scent coming from Kagami's ... shampoo? Perfume? Hand cream? Marinette would ask later. Interesting. Okay, first right off the bat, why is it that they chose lavender? Interesting scent choice. I would think that Kagami would be not a lavender gal. She seems to me to be more of a like a passion fruit gal. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like a fruity kind of scent. I don't know. Lavender's just a little bit like too laid back. Maybe I'm just thinking of her color scheme. Her color scheme is very red, so I'm thinking like a red kind of scent. Whereas lavender's like lavender, the color in my room. That's not a Kagami color. That's not a Kagami scent. Ugh, what the hell is this? I'm kidding. But mostly, in italics, it was Kagami's words that made no sense. Since when did Adrien have a sword? Or was he the sword? What? And what did an edge have to do with anything? I don't know, I find that so hilarious. But what exactly does this lady mean? Does she mean like a fencing sword? Is Kagami using a metaphor that Marinette doesn't understand? This is what I think is going on. But the phrase, since when did Adrien have a sword? My mind immediately jumps to a dick. Or was he the sword? All I think is sexual. And it's bad. It's bad. But I thought it was hilarious. The phrasing is so bad. Marinette had been in enough Akuma attacks to know that attraction was nothing like combat, no matter how well Kanoal might think the two paired together. Then again, Kagami made some valid points. It wasn't like any of Marinette's previous confession attempts has been anything short of disastrous. Kagami's suggestion was certainly no more convoluted than Operation Secret Garden, or more humiliating than the time Marinette had given Adrian Master Fu's prescription. Did that actually happen? Did I forget that? What the hell? And it was nowhere near as cringeworthy as the failure that still haunted Marinette's nightmare. The dreaded statue confession. So really, Marinette had nothing to lose by trying things Kagami's way. After all, practice did make perfect, and if anyone knew perfection, it was Kagami. Is Kagami perfect? No. She is one of those characters that pushes for perfection because she is a perfectionist and she has parents who are overbearing and push her to be that way. So she cannot make mistakes and she strives not to. She's a very tightly wound character who's pushed into a certain situation. Honestly, Kagami should get more screen time, not as anyone's love interest, but as like Kagami, because she's a really interesting character that is not very much explored outside of like being Adrian's love interest for like 5 minutes to cause drama. Not because of her flawless skin or silky hair or surprisingly warm brown eyes, but because of her drive to be the best. Hell, Marinette had even entrusted her time and time again with the Kwami embodying perfection. Is that true? I don't know. Marinette had just one question. But what if the person I'm practicing on falls for me? Since I don't feel the same way, couldn't there be awful consequences? That's why you must be sure that the person you pick has zero chance of falling for you, Kagami said. Huh. Marinette took a moment to think that through. It did seem like a good plan, and surely she'd be able to find someone to help her out. Alia? Or maybe even Nino? No, that would be awkward, seeing as he was Adrian's best friend. Maybe there was even another option. Would you help me? Marinette asked. Kagami's eyes widened. Well, that isn't really what I meant, but yes, actually, that could work, her eyebrows furrowed. Actually, that's brilliant. It would allow me to ensure we're approaching this as efficiently as possible. I can do some research, too, to really make sure we build up the best strategy. Kagami smiled, staring somewhere off to the side. Marinette almost wondered if she'd forgotten she wasn't alone until her gaze suddenly darted back to Marinette's. That's all, then? Kagami said. Wait, so, ... That's a yes? A slight nod was Marinette's only response. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, this is really well written. Like, for fan fiction, I'm genuinely impressed. Like, this is not like, I've read fan fiction where like, I'm pretty sure the person has never heard of sentence structure or punctuation. Like, this is very decently written, like, all things considered. So like, hats off to you, whoever made this fan fiction. A slight nod was Marinette's only response. Great, Marinette beamed. We can get started right away. I just have to run home and grab the confession I wrote out. So she broke off when Kagami grabbed her wrist with a surprisingly soft set of fingers. Was all of Kagami's skin that soft, or did she just have really good hand cream? Surely she could afford high-quality cosmetics, but how much of an effect could they really have? There must have been some sort of natural talent. Is it a talent, naturally, to have soft hands? Asking for, well, me. No, that was the wrong word, but what was the right one? Gift from the gods? She was fairly sure Kagami was agnostic. Perhaps there was something to the gift part, though. Maybe Marinette should make Kagami a gift for helping her out. Well, what would Kagami like? Certainly not hand cream. She had that covered. Someone's really into the hand cream, huh? Marinette, Kagami smiled again, and there was something even softer than her hands about the way her eyes sparkled. Not now. I have other commitments at the moment. Before Marinette could decide how to respond, Kagami leaned across her and, oh, the lavender smell was definitely her shampoo. Pushed open Marinette's door. I'll be in touch, Kagami said, and it took Marinette a solid few seconds to realize she was actually supposed to get out of the car. Marinette stumbled outside, turning around to see Kagami's smirk widening as she pulled the door closed. As the car drove away, Marinette couldn't help but grin, her heart thumping eagerly as she considered what would come next. With Kagami on her side, Well, frankly, Marinette couldn't imagine anything she wouldn't be able to do. Confessing to Adrian would be a piece of cake after Kagami's tutelage, and spending more time with Kagami in the process, that was the cherry on top. Amazing. Okay, I'm gonna skip forward to a random part of this story so we can get a taste. Dating Kagami for practice was riveting. Marinette couldn't get enough of it. All right, so we're doing a fake dating trope. I love fake dating tropes. I think that they, when done correctly, can be so much fun. True. The first time was a little awkward. Kagami chose the restaurant with a dress code and 4 different forks, and Marinette spent most of the time worrying she'd never be able to cut it as Adrian's date. Thankfully, they finally got to talking things through over dessert, and Kagami concluded that Adrian probably wouldn't even want to go to a place like that. After that, they only chose activities they wanted to partake in. Some still qualified as stereotypical date ideas. After all, going to see a movie was something anyone could enjoy. They do love movie theaters in season 4, huh? Many, many movie theaters. Many movie theaters. And Marinette even got to practice brushing her hand against Kagami's in the popcorn bowl a few times. Both of them glancing shyly at each other and laughing as they pulled away. Whoa. Then there was the time they went to the fair, and Kagami made it her mission to win Marinette the giant stuffed teddy bear she'd noticed. Despite Kagami's insistence that all the games were rigged, Marinette almost tripped over the bear 10 times on her way out of the park, but she refused to let go of it the entire ride home and for 7 hours afterwards, though Kagami didn't know about that last bit. The amusement park dates, they're fun to watch, especially the one from Cherry Magic. Magic. Some things were a little less conventional. Once they played laser tag, teaming up and obliterating their competition in no time. Once they ended up hanging out with Adrian, an attempt to ease Marinette into spending more time with him, and Kagami made Marinette laugh so hard she nearly snorted soda out of her nose. Once they spent an entire afternoon in a blanket in the park while Marinette sketched out some designs and Kagami sketched Marinette. How romantic! But after a month or so, they were starting to run out of ideas. Oh my! They lay across Marinette's bed, trying to decide on their next outing. Kagami's head was in Marinette's lap. Marinette played absently with Kagami's hair. This is getting gay. It was sort of wild, in the best way possible. How normal that had become. I skipped forward a little bit. There was a fair amount of Marinette screaming into her pillow when Kagami had to go home. There were the Kwamis racing around a room in alarm and her parents coming up to check on her, and finally a panic phone call to Alia when she remembered mostly how to breathe. But hours later, as she sat cross-legged on her bed across from Alia, fiddling with the ear of the giant teddy bear Kagami had won for her, Marinette felt strangely calm. I can do this, she realized. Alia cheered, placing her hands on Marinette's knees and shaking them excitedly. Hell yeah, you can! Marinette laughed. No, I mean, I can really do this. This is what I've been training for, and I already know how to confess to Kagami. I mean, I'll need to change up the speech. I have to make it about her, but about the way she smiles when she draws something so proud of, and the way her eyes get all intense before fencing match, and how she's so brave, but also so soft. People don't know that about her. They don't know how gentle and sweet and encouraging and... Okay, Alia interrupted, smirking. Save something for the confession. Also, oh my god, do you have a pen? Pfft. I mean, we're in your room. I think you can probably find one. We're at the end now. Here we go. Kagami just stared at her for a moment, and Marinette's heart thumped ominously in the silence. But then Kagami laughed, and the sound was brighter than any amount of suns could be. I still maintain that the suns would disintegrate you, but please do go on. Kagami took her hand. I missed a joke in the earlier part because I'm skipping. Marinette's cheeks hurt from smiling so hard as she continued, those suns are only 3 little words, but there, Kagami cut her off with a kiss, one that made Marinette very glad they'd done so much practicing the other day. I missed the kiss practicing. Damn it! The movements were familiar, from the hand sliding along her thigh to the way Kagami's tongue teased her bottom lip. Faint hints of lavender wafted towards Marinette when she slipped a hand into Kagami's hair, and Kagami gasped in response. When the kiss broke, it was mutual. They pulled apart slowly, their eyes racing around everywhere and only making the briefest of eye contact, but their fingers were still laced together on the table, and Marinette didn't think she'd ever felt so alive. I love you too, she whispered, as much as you love me. And despite Kagami's warning from a couple months prior, Marinette didn't think that was presumptuous at all. That was good. What do we got here? We got a Lady Noir ship. I am a Lady Noir shipper. They're my favorite of the love triangle, or the love square. It's called You and Me. Let's see. Facing villains was a lot quieter recently. Marinette was used to the big team having everyone around her. It was so sad to think all the Kwamis were gone. I hope this isn't enough spoilers for season 5. I haven't watched it yet. Oh, if anyone can tell me how I can get access to season 5 in Canada, please put that in the comments. I have been trying to find sites that have it, but they're all like gonna give me a virus. So if you can tell me a way that I can watch season 5 without getting a virus in Canada, that would be lovely. Thank you. On the other hand, being just her and Sha was nice. They were in sync and it was easy to understand each other without words. I agree. It's just you and me, she sighed. Patrols, well, they have always been something just for him and her. This was familiar. Are you getting bored, m'lady? Oh, I forgot to put on my Kanawar ring. Kanawar wasn't in the other one, but here he is, Kanawar. Are you getting bored, m'lady? Do you need someone else? Teasing a smile was almost impossible not to return. Kitty. I will let you beat me, don't worry, he added, putting another card down. Pfft. Last time I crushed you, 300-0, she reminded him. Uno is not my forte, he shrugged. Yeah, you always say this. Do you want the truth? I get distracted by you. That was a dirty trick. Right, if distraction was factored in, I'd never win. The words just slipped from her mouth. M'lady. You started it. It was easier to play it off as a joke. This was the only way they could tell each other how they felt. I really don't mind being here, just with you. Me neither. Thank you. For always being there for me. It can't be any other way. The universe wouldn't be in balance. It would cause... Kitty! He was being his usual ridiculous self. You smiled. It's not hard when you're around. He lifted her free hand to his lips. Why was that for? Why was that for, apparently? She wondered if he could hear just how fast her heart was beating. Just because. The game continued, not just with cards. Poetic. We're the real weird ones. I'm just gonna skip forward. Rats, mud, and dancing shoes. Ivan and Mylene. Marinette reads some steamy fan fiction about her and Luca, causing her to freak out and realize her own feelings. Fuck yeah! It's called Read It and Kiss. And she had kissed a guy. ... Luca had been her first kiss. It had been a good first kiss. A great first kiss, really. ... You could have kissed me without her meddling, you know, she laughed. He smiled softly and bent down, pressing his lips to hers. We're not going to start fighting again now that we're at the good part, are we? He teased. She rolled her eyes and he gave her another quick peck on the lips before letting her go and nudging her towards her wardrobe. He plopped her down in her desk chair and waved her off with a grin. Now, get dressed. As much as I love the outfit, I highly doubt your dad will appreciate our going out in public like that. This is the fan fiction, by the way, that she's reading. She rolled her eyes before turning towards her wardrobe. She could feel his eyes on her the entire time, and when she had picked out a dress and was stepping behind her changing screen, she turned and saw he was still watching her with... She paused, biting down on her smile, and his eyes darkened. There was something empowering about the way he was watching her, without knowing he was watching her and wanting her like that. She knew he was interested in more than just her body, but knowing he was also interested in her body didn't hurt. It felt good to be desired like that. You're looking at me like you want to undress me, Kufane. I forgot his last name was Kufane, she said, trying for a teasing tone, but not just sounding a little breathless. His lips quirked a smile and he leaned back in her chair, tapping his fingers against the arms as he dipped his head towards hers. More than you know, he said, his eyes still dark and wanting. He swallowed and she watched his throat bob in fascination. Later, though... Okay, now we're out of the fan fiction. Marinette immediately pushed the laptop away. She was going to kill Dingo and Brielle for telling her to read the latest fan fiction by Verfound. Nope, she yelled. What's wrong, Marinette? Tiki her Kwame asked. Marinette pointed a finger at the laptop screen as if it personally offended her. I kissed Luca. Tiki laughed. It's a fan fiction, Marinette. Of course people are going to write about you and Luca kissing. Who in this universe is writing about Marinette and Luca kissing? That's a little bit weird. But we're not dating. We're just friends. Really good friends. Again, Tiki laughed. So why are you getting so worked up about it? At that she sputtered. Because we are really good friends, Tiki. It's hilarious because, like, I just don't understand in what context in this universe there is fan fiction about Luca and Marinette. I just think that, like, there would be fan fiction about Kanawa and Ladybug for sure because they're Paris's, like, superheroes. Like, I'm sure people have written fan fiction about them, but, like, who the absolute hell is writing fan fiction about these 15-year-olds having intimate times? It's a little bit weird in the universe. Not like, this is just a fan fiction about, like, a cartoon, okay? So it's like, whatever. But, like, in the in-universe of Miraculous Ladybug, that is weird. But the writing, the way the author wrote it, it had been so real. You promised you would tell Brielle what you thought. You can't do that if you can't even get past the first paragraph. Marinette groaned. Okay, so this person named Brielle wrote it? Excuse me. What? No. Marinette groaned, flopping back down on her bed. She could have just made up a general comment like, the plot was interesting and I liked it, but Brielle knew her too well. Who the hell's Brielle? And Marinette couldn't lie for her life. Where is Kanawa? I know this is a Luca and Marinette one, but where is Kanawa? Luca had known she was Ladybug since their first meeting and took Dingo and Bree less than 1 month to figure it out. What is going on? Okay, she keeps reading, and I'll just read another excerpt because I don't know, this one's a little bit weird. But we're going for weird. If she was honest with herself, he hadn't only been her first kiss. When she had realized her crush on Adriana Grass was no more than that, a crazy, simple, slightly unhealthy crush. Slightly unhealthy. Ma'am, slightly? Very unhealthy. She was stalking Adrian. She had presents in a box for every single occasion for Adrian. There were the hamsters suffering in there for Adrian. Luca had been her first love, too. And as it turned out, dating Luca wasn't much different from not dating Luca. Her parents still gave them knowing little smiles as they waved on their way out. He still held her hand as they walked down the street. The conversation was as easy as it had ever been. And they laughed and joked like they'd always been. And he stole the fry she kissed him in a show of... When he stole a fry, she kissed him in a show of stealing it back. Like the more they were becoming. And if he took a moment to stare at her as she pulled back, his hand cupping her cheek and his thumb gently brushing beneath her eye and watching her like he was in complete and total awe, she sat there and smiled back at him like she was just as dazed. All right, that is a very interesting fan fiction idea. Whoever wrote that. Alrighty, what do we got here? People ship Emily, cryo mom, and Natalie, receptionist, assistant. I clicked on it. I want no more. They were circling in one endless loop after another. Emily had started the first, and Natalie and Gabriel watched it go until it came to a stop. Then Gabriel started another, and Natalie watched it go on, and unable to stop it. But one day an Akuma storm on the Atelier broke the circle, and maybe it will never get back to full pace. Ooh, instead of Emily falling into a coma, Gabriel's the one affected by the peacock Miraculous. In an attempt to save her family, Emily decides to use the butterfly Miraculous to find the cat and ladybug Noelle and use the wish to bring Gabriel back. Boring. I need to know what's going on with the Hawk Moth Natalie shippers. Because let's be real, there's some sparks there. Gabriel has taken a 1-week vacation from Adrian's school, but in the paper said that it was in family, meaning wife, husband, and children. Adrian didn't want to go, and Natalie and Gabriel pretending to be the married couple alone for 1 week. Plot twist, Adrian has set everything up to get them together. Woo! Pretending. Okay, let's read a little bit of this. Sunday. She left the only suitcase, the only one she had time to be able to pack, with the most essential things for this occasion. She carried it to her room, which is a single room for all the space and other rooms in the house. She put her suitcase on the bed so that she could see how big and spacious it was. The window is the same size as Adrian's window. The bed is in the middle. The wardrobe has plenty of space and is large. She probably fits perfectly between the gaps, as small as she is. In the same room, there is a door leading to the bathroom, which, given the redundancy, is the size of her bedroom in her flat. The descriptions, they're there. She exhales deeply and then lets the air out and hugs herself. This is weird for her. Weird that he's agreed to do this, that he had so easily said yes. She thought there would at least be hesitation from saying yes, or at least saying no, like he always says. She took off her shoes to leave them by the door and walked out of the room. The hallway is long, spacious, and there are a couple of basic decorations, like lamps on the ceiling, a couple of small tables with a couple of vases, or some paintings hanging on the walls. There are several doors, some of which probably lead to the laundry port, the other bathroom, or simply to the kitchen. I gotta say, I'm genuinely really impressed with the quality of writing for Miraculous Ladybug fanfiction. I can tell that these people who are writing them are my age, which I'm reading them, so yeah. But yeah, I'm genuinely impressed. I have read some shitty fan fiction. This is impressive, for fan fiction, obviously. She looked around the small details of the house, taking for granted that this would be torture, a madness, and something very uncomfortable. Okay. Her plans were simple. Work, attend the schedules of her boss and her boss's son, run some errands for the Egress Company, take care of her cat, Oliver. She has a cat named Oliver. And then just go to her flat and suffer in silence, eat dinner in silence, and try to sleep, and then repeat the previous day's action until she gave up in exhaustion. All right, let's get to the juicy part. Natalie. She startled a little when she heard her name being called. She turned to look at him. She stopped, hugging herself so she could put her hands on her knees and step straighter. Yes, sir. Gabriel frowned, dropping his hands to his abdomen and looking down at her. There will be no formalities here. Now it was her turn to frown. Excuse me, sir, but I don't think that would be a good idea. Why not? Natalie swallowed dryly to divert her gaze to her hands on her knees and draw her knees a little closer together than they already were. If there were no employee/employer formalities, she would have a stroke from which she is concretely sure she could never recover. She has done it before, but by accident. On those occasions, he has always forgiven her for stepping out of her role as an employee, but now it counts as stepping out of her role because they're here and there's no work involved. It would be, Natalie, we're not working, so please, I'm asking you, no sirs. Gabriel, you smooth man. She pulled her lower lip back between her teeth to lift her gaze up and look up at the shelf where the TV is. In order to distract herself, she must investigate the house further, know what the other doors are hiding, and know which way to go without bumping into her boss at some point. Okay, you left your suitcase in the main room. Yes, is that bad? Gabriel smiled, getting up from his seat, tucking his clothes in neatly and arranging the mess he'd made so he could close the suitcase and carry it more easily. No, it's not bad. I'll just put my clothes in the wardrobe. There's nothing else, so it'll be there, I presume. Don't worry, I'll sleep on this couch, and you can sleep on the bed. False! Gabriel Egress would never sleep on my couch. Never! Natalie wants to protest, knowing that she doesn't deserve the bed, but the couch, or just the floor. I don't think that's necessary. I won't let you sleep on the floor or the couch. You'll take the bed, and there's no more discussion about that, okay? Good. I'll drop this off. All right, come on. Give me the juicy part. Give me the juicy part! But do we really have to do this? Gabriel frowned. What do you mean? Be, married? Gabriel let out a small laugh. He didn't see this coming either. We have to give appearances, don't we? Natalie lifted her shoulders, dropping her head fully onto her forearm and looking at her boss. I guess. Gabriel smiled. He rose from his seat to wipe the rest of the dirt off his back and stretched his hands towards Natalie. We need to get some dinner. Huh? Da da da. Right. I'm looking for the juicy part. Next chapter. On the verge of falling face first into the ground, 2 arms grabbed her waist, straightening her posture, and she was able to press her head against something solid, warm. Tell me you're still with me. Natalie doesn't recognize that voice. She knows she's heard it several times, if not for years, but right now it's all a blur and there's this ringing in her ears. I think she was having a nightmare that won't let her think clearly. She really wants the darkness to take her in its arms and for her to be able to relax at last. She turned her head in the solid. She turned her head in the solid so that she could close her eyes again and bring both hands to her chest. For a present twinge of pain, she cried out. I don't understand that sentence. I can't read the entirety of this. Whoa. Hawkmoth fake kidnapping Natalie to finally get the Miraculous seems foolproof. Basically, angsty cocknath for y'all. Yes, girl. Let's go. Plan Z. And then I'm going to try to find one between Marinette and Adrian as any of the things, and then I'm going to end the video because I've been doing this for a while and I'm going to go eat lunch. Are you sure you want to do this? Gabriel asked his assistant. I would do anything for you, sir, Natalie replied, gazing softly into his eyes. He nodded. I'll inform Lila Rose in case we need her assistance. I'm just gonna skip to a random chapter. Okay, let's see. There's so many chapters. I'm gonna chapter 8. Let's go, baby. Chapter 8 of Plan Z. Everything in Gabriel broke. What? Your son is Canoir. No. The reveal. Since when do you know? He couldn't believe it. When he got his ring back, I was able to take a close look at him without magical interference. It wasn't hard to see it's Adrian. I first got suspicious when he cared about me that much, but it took until his face was closed. His eyes. I saw Adrian's eyes. I saw Emily's. Cry, Mom. Gabriel fell to the ground with his hands on his mouth. Each time he had fought Cat and Wow, Adrian played in front of his eyes. How could we not see it? All this time. It's because you're a bad father, Gabriel. A bad father. If you had just paid attention for 5 seconds, you would have noticed. I mean, come on. It's really obvious. Like, I don't understand. Gabriel, you're a grown-ass man with a fashion company, and you are not realizing that literally every single person in your son's class has gotten a Miraculous except Adrian and Marinette, and you trying to figure out the identities of 2 people, Ladybug and Canoir? Pieces. Put it together. Put the pieces together. Natalie, he knocked at the door again. Are you all right? There was a pause before she said, yes, I'm fine. But the thickness of her voice betrayed her. Can you open the door? There was a shift when she crawled away so he could enter. Natalie sat on the floor, her head still turned, so Gabriel couldn't see her face. He shouldn't see her like this, even if he'd seen her in worse states. When she didn't move, he dared to approach slowly. I'm sorry, he started. And it felt like the word of the day. I had no right to yell at you like this, to accuse you, to convince you, to everything. I never wanted to be that kind of man. I'm truly sorry. False. Gabriel will never apologize. Never! So one moment you fired me, and now you're sorry? Natalie's voice was dry. You were right with everything you said, and I needed to hear it to get clarity. Adrian being kind of wild. Would never fight him. You know this. I want to be there for him. For you. Everything will be fine. Please don't leave. I know you hate me, and I can understand that because I do too. But I mean it when I said I can't lose you. I could never hate you, Gabriel, and I'm sorry for the outburst. It needed to come out right. Don't worry. It'll be okay. We'll get through this together. He repeated like a mantra into her ear. Beautiful. Art. 4 different Miraculous ships reacting to meeting their future child's house children. All right, we're doing it. Future children. Let's go, baby. Okay, Marinette and Adrian. This is it. All right. Oh my God, we're starting with Pound It. Pound it. Wow, Ladybug said. Both of them quickly went home to de-transform. I hope no one saw me, Marinette tells Tiki. You gotta be more careful about that, Tiki said. I know, Marinette said, looking down. Marinette, are you still gonna help us in the bakery or not? Sabine asked from downstairs. In a moment, Mom. I forgot all about that, Marinette said, whispering in the last part. Marinette quickly changes into a different set of clothes. Then she put her hair into a bun. She looked at herself in the mirror and is happy of how she looked. Stay here, Tiki, Marinette said. What if there is another Kuma attack? Tiki says. Tiki, my room and the bakery are in the same building, remember? And besides, there's usually only one Akuma attack a day, Marinette said. All right, Tiki said. Marinette grabbed a stash of cookies and put them on her desk. She opened the bag so Tiki has an easier time of grabbing a cookie. Tiki happily started eating a cookie. What took you so long? Tom asks. Sorry, I got started. I forgot that is her dad's name actually Tom? Marinette looks up expecting it to be her friends, but is surprised to see a little girl. The girl has blonde hair and blue eyes. To Marinette, the girl seemed to be 7 or 8. Marinette walks up to the little girl. Oh, hello there, little one. Are you lost? Marinette asks, crouching down. The little girl looks at Marinette, then her eyes started to sparkle and had a big smile on her face. The little girl jumped onto Marinette, yelling, Mommy! Huh? Marinette yells out. Tom and Sabine quickly went to Marinette after hearing a child and Marinette yelling. They were worried something had happened to Marinette. Marinette, what happened? Sabine asked. They see a little blonde girl on Marinette hugging her, and Marinette looking very confused and surprised. This little girl whom I've never seen before just called me Mummy, Marinette explained. The little girl then looked at Sabine and Tom. Grandma! Sabine and Tom were very confused because Marinette is only a child and is obviously too young to have a child. And the girl is about 7 or 8. Yeah, that doesn't make sense. I mean, Marinette at this time is what, 15? So she can actually have a child, but the child would only be like max like 3 years old if she hit puberty early. Why am I talking about this? Well, this is a predicament, Tom said. What is your name, little one? Do you know where your parents are? Sabine asked. Don't be silly, Grandma. It's me, Emma, the girl said. Well, Emma, it seems like you're mistaking me, Tom, and Marinette for a different group of people, Sabine said. How would I mistake seeing Grandma, Grandpa, and Mom? Emma asked, confused. By the way, Mommy, where is Daddy? Is he still working? Marinette started to say. Alia, Nino, and Adrian walked into the bakery. What's up, dudette? Oh, huh? What's wrong? Oh my god, why did I say that? That's Nino, apparently, to me. I don't know, I don't know where that comes from. Emma looks over to the 3 teenagers and then just walked into the bakery. The first person her eyes on was Nino. Uncle Nino! Emma yells and hugs Nino. Huh? The 3 teens yells. This is the problem. This girl whose name is Emma thinks that I'm her mother. My parents are her grandparents. Now she thinks that Nino is her uncle. We don't know her last name. All we got was her first name. Then Emma hugs Alia and called her Aunt Alia. Nino's brain just exploded, and like Marinette is very confused. Wait, did she just call me uncle? Hey, Nino asked. Hey there, Emma, I'm Adrian. Adrian introduced himself to Emma. Daddy, Emma said and jumped onto Adrian. Alia burst out laughing. This is gold, Alia said. That's cute, Marinette thought while looking at Adrian and Emma. Emma, who are your parents? Alia asked. Marinette and Adrian aghast. Emma replies. Upon hearing that she was married to her crush, Marinette fainted. But she would. This is so accurate to the fucking show. It's actually insane. Like, this is some bullshit that Miraculous Ladybug would pull. This might be the most accurate fanfiction that I've read so far. Is she referring to you and Marinette or a different you and Marinette? Are you guys really ignoring the fact that she called Alia and I aunt and uncle? The aunt and uncle thing isn't important right now, Alia said, recovering from her laughing fit. How are you not shocked? And it's important to me, Nino said. Are you sure that Marinette and I are your parents? Adrian asks. Of course I am. What's wrong with you, Dad? You, Mom, Grandma, Grandpa, Grandma, Uncle Nino, and Aunt Alia are acting like you've never met me before, and Aunt Alia and Uncle Nino are acting like they aren't married, Emma said. Marinette finally awakens from her slumber with the help of Alia and Tom, who she was able to stand up straight. Then a portal opens and Bunny X comes out. The portal disappears behind Bunny X. So this is where you went. Come on, it's time to take you back. Your parents are worried about you. What are you talking about? Mom and Dad are right here. Take a good look at the people around you and look very closely, Bunny X said. They look younger, Emma said finally. That's because they're in the past. I don't know how you were able to get to the past, but it's time for you to go, Bunny X said. No, Emma said and clung onto Adrian. Do you want to make your parents more worried about you, Bunny X asked. No, but I don't want to leave, Emma said. You should go home, Emma. Your parents are worried about you. They're going to be so heartbroken if you don't go back to them. And your parents want you to be safe with them. And if you're here, that can't happen," Adrian added. "All right, Daddy, Mommy," Emma said sadly and went over to Bunny X. "Do you want to say bye?" Bunny X asked. "Bye," Emma said. "Bye," everybody else said. "Forget everything that happened. None of this happened," Bunny X tells the group. Bunny X reopens the time portal and both her and Emma go through it. Alia then looks at Marinette with a fun look. "It looks like you and Mr. Regress over there are married and have a kid in the future," she said. "Well, it also seems like you and Nino are married in the future." Marinette was blushing bright red. Alia also started blushing when she realized that what Marinette was true. She was just so amused by Marinette's panic that she completely forgot that Emma had said her and Nino were married. Adrian and Nino were just thinking on what the heck had just happened. Art. Yeah, and that's it for now. If you guys enjoyed this part, I will maybe do another part and read a few more random AO3 ones. Maybe I'll explore Wattpad, see what's over there. But this was fun. This is like chill. Anyways, I will catch you in the next one. Bye.